Your name is Pete. You are 20 years old, and you have the voice of a 20-year-old girl. You have had it since you were 13, when everybody else has changed, and yours simply declined to. You work in a call center in Struthers, Ohio, selling extended warranties on appliances that are already broken, not appliances that might break. Appliances that have broken, been replaced, and gone to a landfill in 2019. The company calls this the legacy book, and it is worth $11 million a year. Your job is retention. When somebody calls to cancel, they get you, and they do not cancel. You are the best on the floor by a distance, and the reason is the voice. Nobody has ever yelled at it. A man in Toledo has paid $19 a month for 4 years to insure a dishwasher that no longer exists. You have been Employee of the Month 11 times in a row because the office keeps printing them, and nobody takes the old ones down. You hate the voice. You have hated it your entire life. Your father used to do it at Thanksgiving. You live in your mother's house, in the room you were born in, and you eat one Slim Jim for lunch every day. You are not a bad person. You are a person with one asset and no plan. You have never been arrested, never been in a fight, and never once been believed about anything important. The asset is about to make you the most wanted woman in America. But first, on a Sunday in February, you owe $4,300. The man at the next desk is called Itami. He is 25. His actual name is Rohit. He renamed himself in college after watching a Japanese film about noodles and never went back. His family calls him Rohit. His profile says Rohit. Everybody under 30 calls him Itami, and he corrects nobody. He speaks 6 languages and gets by in 2 more. He watches Iranian films without subtitles for fun. He lifts weights at 5 in the morning and refers to this out loud without irony as worship. He can tell you his body fat percentage to 1 decimal place. He has told you today. He tells you most days. He closes calls in 90 seconds in whichever of 6 languages the customer prefers and spends the saved time eating. He brings kushikatsu on Tuesdays and feijoada on Wednesdays in stacked containers while you eat your Slim Jim. He offers you some every day. You say no every day. Neither of you has ever explained why. He has called you victim for a year, not for any reason. He finds the word funny in your presence. On Sunday, it becomes accurate, and he will never stop finding that funny, not once, in 4 years. He has never been angry in his life. This is the single most unsettling thing about him. He is the only friend you have, and he is about to be the only person alive who knows where you are. You owe the money to a man called Ronnie, who sold you a car, a 2007 Pontiac G6 with a rebuilt title and a bumper sticker reading, "I heart my granddaughter." You have never removed the sticker. You do not have a granddaughter. You are 20. The check engine light has been on since the afternoon you bought it. Ronnie described this as character. You have driven it for 8 months with the radio up, which is a form of maintenance. You owe $4,300. You earn $14 an hour. You have $310. Ronnie is not frightening. Ronnie has never threatened anybody in his life, including men who deserved it. Every 11 days, Ronnie sends the same text message. "Hey bud," that is all. He is not even asking. He is simply being present in your life. You have come to dread the letter B. A frightening man would have been easier. Ronnie waves at you at the gas station, so you decide to solve this the way a 20-year-old with one asset solves things. You decide to be kidnapped for 1 week. Your cousin Wade owns an ice fishing trailer on Mosquito Lake, 90 minutes north. Wade has not been to it since 2021. Wade has not been anywhere since 2021. Nobody in your family finds this strange. Inside, there is 1 can of chili, a rifle with no bolt, and a portrait of a racing driver. There is no propane. You do not check for propane. You will think about propane a great deal. You buy a prepaid phone at a gas station in Warren with cash, which is the only correct decision you make. You take a bus. You bring a hoodie, a charger, and no plan for the part after the phone call. The plan is 1 call. Your mother pays, you come home Thursday, Ronnie is paid, life continues. There is no part 5. You have never in your life needed a part 5. To make the call, you need a different voice, so you practice in the trailer's mirror for 2 hours. What you are attempting is a large man from a film. You have watched the film, you have the cadence, you dial. Your mother answers on the second ring, because she always answers on the second ring. And what comes out of you is what has always come out of you. You say the words, $4,300, unmarked bills, no police. And your mother hears a young woman. She hears a young woman with a terrified boy somewhere behind her, and she writes the number down exactly. 4,300, not 4,000, not 5. She is a bookkeeper. The precision is what convinces her. Your mother is called Deb. She is 52. She does not have $4,300. She has never had $4,300. What she has is a bookkeeper's handwriting, 71 friends on the internet, and a neighbor called Karen who moderates a group. She calls the police at 9:14. By 9:40, there are 2 cruisers outside the house you grew up in. By 11, there is a detective in your bedroom looking at a football poster and a shoebox of nothing. He asks your mother whether you had any enemies, and she says you had a manager. By 2 in the afternoon, there is a helicopter over Mosquito Lake, and you are lying on the trailer floor watching it through a window. It is over the wrong lake. It stays over the wrong lake for 6 hours. You will be invoiced for it in 4 years. At 6 o'clock, you call Itami because there is nobody else, and because you want to complain about the chili. He answers in Portuguese. He speaks Portuguese for 1 full minute before switching to English. Then he says 1 word, victim. You explain the situation. There is a silence you will remember for the rest of your life. Then he says this is the greatest thing that has ever happened to a person he has met, and hangs up. He calls back 40 seconds later to ask if you need anything from town. You say propane. He brings a rice cooker. You never see the fundraisers go up. Itami sees them go up and sends you photographs of them. By Monday dinner, there are 3, because 2 of your mother's friends started their own without telling her. The 3 of them will not speak again until the second book tour. The one that grows is not your mother's. It belongs to a woman called Tammy who has never met you. Tammy has spelled your name Pete throughout. All 14 updates. Pete. Tammy has also attached a photograph of a different boy entirely. voluntarily taken from a public profile. His name is Pete Rodriguez. He is 19, he lives in Boca Raton, and he is alive. He is also, as of Tuesday, receiving 140 phone calls a day from strangers who are praying for him. He will get more attention over the next 4 years than he has ever had or wanted. He starts a podcast. It does badly. He is asked to speak at a vigil in a state he has never visited. In 9 days, the page raises $61,000. Your mother receives none of it because the account belongs to Tammy. Ronnie donates $40. Atami donates $5 with a comment in Portuguese saying you owed him nothing and were the light of the office. You read this on a prepaid phone, on the floor of a trailer, eating cold chili, and you laugh for the first time in 9 days. That laugh is the last time any of this belongs to you and not to everybody else. In week 2, a podcast picks you up. It is called Case Closed. It has 900,000 listeners and 2 hosts, both called Brooke, one of whom used to work at a cosmetics counter. They play the ransom call at the top of every episode as a sting with a small musical flourish under it. Your voice saying $4,300 twice a week to 900,000 people, twice a week for 4 years, including the week you are actually kidnapped. By week 3, 100,000 Americans can do your voice. Badly, but they can do it. It becomes a sound on a video app. Teenagers use it to caption arguments with their mothers. A man at a gas station in Warren plays it out of a passing car while you are standing at the pump. You freeze, holding a Slim Jim for 1 full minute, in the open, in daylight, and nobody recognizes you. Nobody will ever recognize you. Not once. In 4 years. Everybody is listening for a woman. You call Atami. He says the Slim Jim will not save you, in French, and hangs up. The podcast does a bonus episode in which the Brooks drive to Mosquito Lake and describe the water as heavy. They post a map pin for the fans. 400 people visit the lake that summer. 2 of them are professionals. You will not learn that for another 6 weeks. Your brother Kyle is 24. He works at a hardware store. He has never had a girlfriend. Kyle becomes the face of the fund because your mother is too composed on camera and the news needs somebody who breaks. He goes on the local news and says you were the best of us and cries in a way you have never seen. The clip is on 3 networks by the following morning and set to music by the afternoon. He did not cry at your father's funeral. He did not cry when the dog died. He cries on television for 4 minutes. A woman called Ashley watches this and messages him. By April, they are together. By August, they are engaged. Ashley has a podcast. Ashley's podcast is now doing a 9-part series about you. Ashley has never met you. Your mother is asked to speak at a candlelight vigil, then a second, then a third. She is good at it. She is very good at it. She is better at it than she has been at anything. She gets an agent. She signs for 2 books. The first is a memoir called Bring Him Home. The second is a cookbook, and it outsells the memoir because the memoir has a slow chapter about your asthma. She keeps the Christmas tree up all year in case you come back in December. Nobody in your family has ever been happier, and you cannot go home because going home now would be rude. In month 2, the federal government arrives because the call crossed a state line into Pennsylvania. A voice profile goes out to the public. Female, late teens to late 20s, flat Midwestern, some vocal strain. That is the entire physical description of the only suspect in the case. It is a description of you. And then the public does forensics. A 19-year-old in Bakersfield runs the recording through free software and posts a match. The match is a hospice nurse in Zanesville called Marjorie, aged 58, on the basis of a video she posted of her cat. The software reports 94%. The software reports 94% for almost everybody. Nobody checks this. It reported 89% for a car alarm. Marjorie has never been to Mosquito Lake. Marjorie has never left Zanesville. Her address goes up on a Tuesday. Her employer is called 40 times on Wednesday. Her shifts are canceled on Thursday. She is a hospice nurse. There are 4 families in the county that week whose last days are covered by an agency instead. Everybody who did this was certain. Everybody who did this was wrong. One of them was a retired judge. You watch it happen from a trailer with no propane, using the only tool you own, which is the voice, which is the problem. So you do the only thing you can think of. You call a newsroom in Columbus and you use the voice and you say, Marjorie is innocent. It is the worst possible thing you could have done. And it takes the Bureau 9 weeks to work out why. There is an office above a nail salon in Cleveland, Suite 214. On the whiteboard, there is a conversion funnel, a monthly target, and a printed poster reading, always be closing. The company has no name that anybody says out loud. Everybody calls it the group. The group runs virtual kidnappings. Nobody is ever kidnapped. That is the entire product. They call a stranger, say they have their son, and keep the parent on the line until money is wired. It takes 4 minutes. It converts at 3%. It is a volume business with a bad coffee machine. The coffee machine is the only thing in that office anybody has ever complained about. The realism comes from the background, and the background is 2 women called Charlene and Rita on $300 a week, screaming. Charlene's screaming is bad. Rita's screaming is worse. Rita has been asked to take it home and practice. Rita has not, and your case has personally destroyed their April. Every police department in 3 states is now running a public warning telling parents to hang up and call their child. Conversion falls 40%. The landlord raises the rent because he saw one of them on television. So a man called Doug drives to Mosquito Lake with a map pin from a podcast and finds a trailer with a boy in it. The muscle is called Chuck. Chuck is 35, 6'4", and frightened of dogs. There are no dogs. There has never been a dog. Chuck takes you by the arm. You ask if you can bring the chili. Chuck says yes. You are the only kidnapping victim in American history to be abducted holding a can of chili he was not going to eat. In the back of a Sorrento on the interstate, nobody talks to you for 40 minutes. Doug is in the front seat working. He is on a call to a man in Sandusky whose son is at college, and perfectly fine. Charlene is in the passenger seat, producing what she believes to be a scream. It is not a scream. It is a woman making an effort in an enclosed space. Doug mutes the call. Doug turns around and looks at you for the first time since Mosquito Lake. He says 2 words. Do it. So you do the voice. The voice your father did at Thanksgiving. The voice a girl left you over in 11th grade. You do it into a phone held by a man you met an hour ago at a stranger in Sandusky, and it lands in 4 seconds. $11,000 is wired before the car reaches the county line, and Doug says a 2-word sentence this film will not print, and it is the only line in it delivered with any feeling. You are not a hostage anymore. You are staff. You start at $75 a call. You are on salary by Tuesday. You ask about dental. Doug laughs because Doug does not have dental. Then he thinks about it for a week and gets you dental. You rewrite the scripts because the scripts are terrible. They have been machine translated twice and refer to a man's children in every version as the small ones. Somebody at some point put it through Portuguese and back for reasons nobody has established. No American parent has ever called their children the small ones. It has cost the group 40% of its calls for 2 years. You fix the language because language is the only thing you have ever been good at. Conversion goes from 3% to 11, then to 68 on qualified numbers. Charlene and Rita are moved to admin. They resent this for 6 days and then love it because it comes with health insurance. You put up a poster in the corridor that says speed is respect. Nobody asks who authorized it. You run a Monday morning meeting. You use the word cadence. You are 20 years old. Doug gives you a small plaque at the end of the quarter. Employee of the month. You now have 12 of those. In 2 states, in 2 industries, under 2 names. In month 2 of your employment, Itami walks into Suite 214 carrying 2 containers of food. He is not there to rescue you. It has not occurred to him to rescue you. He introduces himself to the receptionist in Mandarin, gets her a coffee, and asks who handles the card processing. Nobody handles the card processing. The group has been paying 9% to a provider abroad for 4 years. Badly. Itami renegotiates it that afternoon, in Portuguese, on speakerphone while eating. He saves them $190,000 a year in 1 phone call, and Doug hires him as chief financial officer before dinner. His salary is 3 times yours. He mentions this daily. He mentions it in 6 languages. What he does not mention for 4 years is that 2/3 of it goes into an account he has opened in your name. He also, quietly, professionalizes a criminal enterprise. Payroll runs on time. There is a retirement plan. There is a wellness channel nobody uses. There is a book club at lunch. Chuck reads with them. Chuck is enjoying Steinbeck. Itami teaches Charlene basic French because he likes her and because he is bored. He calls you victim in front of your own staff every day for 4 years. It is and remains the only honest job title in the building. And then you notice the actual business because you worked retention, and retention is the only place in America that teaches you this. Nobody makes money on ransoms. Ransoms convert at 3%, and the police care about them. Ransoms are the loudest and least profitable product in the industry, and everybody in it knows that. What the group has is not a kidnapping operation. It is 4 years of data about who answers the telephone, which numbers pick up, at what hour, who has a grandchild, who says the child's name out loud in the first 10 seconds, who panics fast, who panics quietly, who asks a question, who has money, and who only sounds like they do. That is the most valuable list in the Midwest, and it has been sitting in a spreadsheet called Book 1. You build a lookup. You name it in capital letters because you are 20 years old. Within 4 months, the group runs warranty fraud, prize fraud, tax impersonation, and 1 profitable line in air conditioner repair that does not exist. All of it off the same list. All of it qualified by 1 4-minute phone call about a child. The kidnapping call stops being the product. It becomes the survey. It is now a cost center, and you defend its budget twice a year in a meeting with slides. You are good at the meeting. You are the best in the room at the meeting. Nobody in the room is a criminal in their own mind. They are in sales. That is the darkest thing in this film, and it is a slide deck. There is a woman in the Chicago field office called Aggie Vance. She is 51. She drinks out of a mug that a colleague gave her as a joke 12 years ago, and she has never explained it. In week 2 of the case, she wrote 1 sentence in a file, and the sentence was correct. The caller's cadence does not fit a captor. It fits somebody who handles cancellations for a living. She knew because her own household had been on hold with your employer for 6 months over a microwave she does not own. She was placed on hold twice by your voice. She waited 11 minutes both times without complaining because the music was Enya. Nobody upstairs runs with her sentence. It is a strange thing to write in a federal file. So she keeps a folder and she keeps you running, the way you keep a light on in a room you are not using. It is the only folder in that building that has been added to for 4 consecutive years. She never tries to catch you. She is waiting to see what you attach yourself to. Meanwhile, your mother is on tour. Your brother is married. Ashley's podcast is 14th in the country. Ronnie forgot about the $4,300 in the first year and about you in the second. The car was towed in 2024. Ronnie remarried. Ronnie is happy. Ronnie still texts a disconnected number every 11 days. Hey, bud. In your 4th year, you drive to the Cleveland field office in a company polo shirt and ask to see the person handling your case. You get Aggie Vance, a paper cup of coffee, and a room with a table in it. You tell her everything. The trailer, the chili, the helicopter over the wrong lake, Marjorie, Suite 214. The list. You do the voice. She asks you to do it again. You do it again. And they do not believe you. Not out of kindness, and not out of confusion, out of paperwork. You are the registered victim in a federal case. Reopening it means unwinding a fundraiser, 2 books, a podcast, a memorial run, and a county fund sponsored by a car dealership. There is a plaque on a bench in Struthers with your name spelled correctly. The voice cannot be matched. It never could. Voice comparison on a phone recording is an argument, not a fingerprint. And once, years ago, the Bureau publicly called a real kidnapping a hoax on television and was wrong and has not forgotten. So they charge you with what they can prove. Filing a false report, which is a misdemeanor, and mail fraud because you posted a thank you card to Tammy from the trailer under a name that was not yours. Mail fraud is what gets everybody. It is always the envelope. 18 months and restitution of $17,974.88. Itemized. Mostly helicopter. Not one of the 4 years at Suite 214 appears anywhere on the sheet. Those calls are still open. They are attributed in a federal database to an unidentified female subject. Tommy visits every Saturday with the wrong food, and on the day you come out, he is in the car park with a bank statement and a shirt that says victim. He has never once asked you why you did it. He does not consider it a mystery. And in a kitchen in Struthers with the tree still up, a phone rings, and the voice that answers it is yours from a recording, and it does not need you anymore.